Jashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Jashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Haribo 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 Gaura Haribo Gaura Haribo 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 Gaura Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Oh, Haribo, Gaur Premanandi. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna. So we are very honored to have with us His Grace Rishikesh Prabhu. So Rishikesh Prabhu is a disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1948 and he got connected to ISKCON in 1971 January. And in July 1971, he got initiated by Srila Prabhupada. He has done cooking service in many temples for Food for Life all across USA. And he has spent maximum time, 20 years, in Australia. Currently, Prabhuji is in Mayapur Dham. When Srila Prabhupada was actually leaving, he was having his disappearance pastime. That time Prabhuji was at Seattle. And from each temple, one devotee was sent to be part of the devotees Sangha at Vrindavan. So Prabhuji was there at Vrindavan in the departure time of Srila Prabhupada also. So we are very honored that he has come here to our temple. Let's welcome him to Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Mandir by one time loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the history of the life of Ajamil, chapter 6, canto 6, chapter 1. I'm not used to actually giving class. I very rarely, I wasn't living in the temple for a long time. But anyway, they asked me to give class, so I'll try my best to do it. Okay, we're reading from text 42. Suryogne kam moru deva. How do you do it? Do you do like that? You say it and then just say it. Okay. Samo sandhya hani desha kamku svayam dhamma iti ye iti dayasya shakshina. So we say it 3 times. And then do you repeat? Okay. Suryogne kam maru deva sama sandhya. Oh, one more. Sama sandhyahani desha kamku svayam dhammamiti yete dayasya sakshina Suryagne kam murudeva Samasanjani desha kamku svayam dhamma iti yeti dayasya shakshina. Suryagne. So do you do like that? Word for word. Okay. Surya, the sun god. Agni, the fire. Kam, the sky. Murat, the air. Deva, the demigods. Soma, the moon. Sandhya, evening. Ahani, the day and night. Disha, the directions. Kam, the water. Ku, the land. Svayam, personally. Dhamma, Yamaraj, or the Supersoul. Iti, thus, he, indeed. Iti, all of these. Dayasya, of a living entity embodied in the material elements. Shakshina, witnesses. Translation: the sun, fire, sky, air, demigods, moon, evening, day, night, directions, water, land, and Supersoul himself all witness the activities of the living entities. Purport. Do you repeat now? I just read the purport now? Okay, purport. The members of some religious sects, especially Christians, do not believe in the reactions of karma We once had a discussion with a learned Christian professor who argued that although people are generally punished after the witnesses of their misdeeds are examined, where are the witnesses responsible for one suffering the reactions of his past karma? To such a person, the answer by the Yamadutas is given here. A conditioned soul thinks that he is working stealthily and that no one can see his sinful activities. But we can understand from the Shastras that there are many witnesses, including the sun, fire, sky, air, moon, demigods, evening, night, day, night, directions, water, land, and the Supersoul himself, who sits within the individual soul, within his heart. Where is the dearth of witnesses? The witnesses and the Supreme Lord both exist, and therefore so many living entities are elevated to higher planetary systems or degraded to lower planetary systems, including the hellish planets. There are no discrepancies, for everything is arranged perfectly by the management of the Supreme God. Swayambha Viki Jnana Bala Kriya Cha. The witness mentioned in this verse are also mentioned in other Vedic literatures. Aditya Chandrav Anilo Nalascha Dayo Bhumi Apo Vidayam Yamascha Ahascha Ratrischa Ubhe Cha Sanye Damopi Janati Narasya Vitam. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuan Militam Jena Tasmaye Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Svabhadantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So there's a story, I heard this story a long time ago. There was once a guru when he had many disciples. And he wanted to test his disciples and see if they truly understood that God is everywhere. So he asked his disciples to take a mango and eat the mango in a hidden place so nobody can see them eating the mango. So each of the disciples went out and they went to find some place where they can hide and eat the mango. And afterwards, they all reported back to their Gurudev and saying that that they were successful in hiding and eating the mango. But one disciple didn't return for a long time. He was the last one to return. And he was trying to find a place where he can eat the mango where Krishna could not see him. But he came back to his Gurudev and he said, Gurudev, I failed. I couldn't find a place where the Lord would not see me eating the mango. So the Gurudev congratulated him and said that you have succeeded, whereas all the others have failed. Because he recognized that God is everywhere. He's in the water, He's in the air, He's in everything in our hearts. So here Prabhupada was using the example of the Christians, how they think that there are no witnesses, that we think that we're getting away with things. And this is our atheism. We're born in the Kali Yuga. I know for myself I was very much like that, not believing, understanding anything about God. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. So hedonistic. The hippie generation was very much like that. And still, everybody who's in this material world, we're filled up with this conception, this conditioning, that I will be happy if I satisfy my senses, and that I can get away with anything and everything. But actually, and we do this in the name of happiness, that I'll become happy by simply becoming filled up to satisfaction of my senses. But this is the illusion, this is the madness of the present age that we're living in. We have so many disqualifications in this age of Kali Yuga. But there is one good thing in this age, and that is the chanting of the holy name. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came specifically to grant this greatest of boons to the fallen conditioned souls. That if we could just simply give our heart and soul to hearing and chanting the holy name, then we will experience something far greater than any sensual activity can give us in this life. We can internally awaken our dormant love of God. And this is the sole purpose of our existence. We've come to imitate Krishna in so many ways. We try to be the center of the universe, and we get smashed repeatedly. But we think, if only I did it this way, next time it will be better. So this is our great hope in the material world, and it obliges us to take birth after birth after birth in so many bodies, trying to fulfill that desire, if only if. And we become more and more mad in material existence. So simply by chanting, we can become relieved of this wild goose chase. It is a wild goose chase. We're all running around trying to find happiness in that which is going to bring us misery. So how mad is that? We try to fulfill our desires, and simply it creates so much disturbance, so much suffering. So that is the whole purpose of material existence, actually. It's meant to bring us to our knees in surrender. And we all have experience of this. Everybody that has come here has come to that conclusion. And at times it may seem that the chanting is not being effective, or I'm not finding happiness in chanting. But if we simply continue, just like with the deity worship, somebody may not have faith or belief in the beginning that the deity is actually Krishna. But when somebody starts to get involved with deity worship, and not that I have done so personally, but I could appreciate that somebody does, and they dress the deities and they decorate the deities and they get very much enthusiastic about engaging in pleasing the deity. Then gradually, the deity, which seemed to be just a piece of stone or wood, gradually begins to give them some experience of the deity. The deity becomes alive to that person who has given himself to it. So in a similar way, we can see how the holy name, at times it may not be there, we may not want to chant it, we may become disheartened for some time. But then if we continue, and in a prayerful way, we desire to want to be with Krishna through his holy name, then Krishna gives us an experience. Jai. I forget, what are the names of the deities here? Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Ki Jai. So that is the whole process of Krishna consciousness. It is the most simple thing. It is given to us in the most glorious way by the Lord himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we could again and again experience. The thing is, we all want to taste something. We want to be able to taste something that is deeply within our heart. And that thing that we're looking for is that we want to be feeling love. We want our heart to open up to the loving experience of being in the presence of God. So when the heart opens up to that experience, then the magnificence of that experience can be tasted. And then there's nothing greater in life than, even though somebody may have some difficulties, just like we see different living entities like Ajamil. He went away from Krishna consciousness. He was attracted by a prostitute. And he thought that this would bring him happiness. And he became very degraded in his activities. But in the beginning of his life, he was a pious Brahmin boy who was very evolved in his spirituality. But later on, he became influenced by the illusory energy. And at the end of his life, he had the great fortune of chanting the holy name of God. So in a similar way, like Bharat Maharaj, he also had the experience of coming to the stage of Bhav, very high elevated platform. But then he had the experience of becoming affected by the association of a deer, which he took care of. And the deer became very, very dear to him. And he gave up his spiritual practices out of his affection for the deer. So he was at such an elevated platform, but then he fell down from that elevated platform. And we all have come to Krishna consciousness because in some life we had some connection, something was there. And then we had some difficulty and we went away, or we made some aparad and we fell away in this way or that way. But now we're here again. So we have this human form of life, we've come again. And how precious, how incredibly valuable is this opportunity that's been given to us. Our life is very short, it's only momentary. There are so many distractions and disturbances that are bombarding us at every moment. And the great value of coming together and associating is the most wonderful thing. But it can be taken for granted again. And then we lose that great enthusiasm that's required to come out of the material world. Just now I was witnessing the kirtan. The chanter was so enthusiastic, and everybody was so enthusiastic, dancing and singing, and happy, joyfully doing this activity. So that is the whole aim in the association of devotees, is to develop a great enthusiasm. A momentum needs to be built to fight the illusory energy. We have to build a strong momentum in tasting the joy of Krishna consciousness and then giving it to others. Become like touchstones that others will see us with happiness, the joy of chanting the holy name, associating with like-minded devotees. And then, like Bharat Maharaj, he didn't have that association. Even though he was at such a high stage of self-realization, he fell away from Krishna consciousness because, somebody could have said to him, "Hey, what are you doing? You're not doing your practice. You're giving too much attention to something that is of little importance." So that is the whole purpose, is to associate, to come together. And the association doesn't have to be with so many devotees. It can be amongst a small group of devotees. There's no hard and fast rule. There's one story with Jamuna Devi, who was very glorious devotee, Prabhupada disciple. You're all familiar with her. She wrote that wonderful cookbook, and she served Prabhupada in so many wonderful ways. But she was feeling that she needed to not be in the association of so many devotees at one time in her life. And so she asked Prabhupada, if it's all right that I go off with this one devotee and just be more isolated from the society at this time in my life. And Prabhupada said, if you are like-minded and you are good in each other's company, then 2 devotees or 200 devotees, that is good. That can give you Krishna consciousness. So it doesn't have to be that we need so many. But of course, the more the merrier. The saying goes, the more the merrier. So that is, either way, it's just that you are not condemned if you're doing something on a small scale. That is also very wonderful. The thing that is most important is that we have companionship of like-minded devotees that can help us to progress in our spiritual life and support like that. I know myself, I had a lot of difficulty with that in the later part of my life. And I did not have so much association. I was by myself a lot. And gradually, I could feel how it caused more and more weakness in my life. It is not so much recommended. Anyway, the whole point is that we come together, we help each other, and this way we can fight Maya's illusory grip on us, and building the momentum and tasting Harinam, tasting the nectar in chanting Krishna's name, and then trying to give it to others, because in giving it to others, it is a very wonderful thing to express how Krishna has helped you in so many ways, and show other people, try to help other people also to come out of the clutches of Maya. And in this way, Guru and Krishna will become pleased with you, and they will give you more and more appreciation for the holy name, for serving the Lord in different ways. So it's a short class, but if anybody has any questions they would like to ask me about my time with Srila Prabhupada, or any other questions that they might want to ask.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful class. This, as in the introduction, it was told that you are the one devotee from Seattle who went to Vrindavan when Prabhupada was leaving this planet. Like from different temples, devotees came.
Yeah.
So, just wanted to ask that what was the atmosphere there that time? Means when Prabhupada was leaving and so many devotees were there. Of course, we saw that final lesson video. But your experience, what was that time when Prabhupada was leaving? Can you describe that?
I was very much appreciative that I was sent to India. I was just newly married, and then I was cooking at the Seattle temple. So there weren't that many devotees there. I think maybe 70 or 80 devotees at most. And there was a very intense mood. I could not really have so much feeling that I would like to have for Srila Prabhupada at the time. Of course, it was a very emotional time, but my appreciation and love for Srila Prabhupada was not so much developed at that time. I was very young. But it was a very special time that I could be there and I could experience something. How they put Prabhupada into samadhi, and afterwards, how they wouldn't take Prabhupada out of the temple because it was in the evening, so they had to wait until the morning because they wanted to take Prabhupada all around Vrindavan, to all the 7 temples of Vrindavan, to give people in Vrindavan the chance to see Prabhupada. To see Prabhupada and to glorify Prabhupada. So they put Prabhupada on a palanquin, and 4 devotees were carrying the palanquin all around Vrindavan, and we were chanting, and people would come out of the storefronts, Loy Bazaar, we went there, and people would come out and put garlands around Prabhupada, and it was very wonderful, and then they put Prabhupada back after that, and they had, in the evening also, I could have, Krishna Das Babaji. I'm not sure if he was Babaji, but Krishna Das, he was very fond of chanting. Akinchana. Akinchana Krishna Das. He led an amazing kirtan that evening after Prabhupada left. And then devotees were asked if they could stay up all night to chant. I couldn't manage that myself, but many devotees did. And I think he was there on the parikram also. So then we came back and put Prabhupada into samadhi. And we were putting different sand, lime, I think lime was put on his body. And there was one devotee, senior devotee, who was asked by Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj was putting Prabhupada into samadhi. Prabhupada had asked him prior to that if he would do the honors of putting Prabhupada into samadhi. So he agreed to that. And he was guiding the devotees how to do it, saying the proper mantras and everything. And we were, it was a very amazing time. I got a chance to touch Prabhupada's feet, first time. They were asking devotees if anybody wanted to massage Prabhupada's foot while he was still living. So then I said, yes, I'll do. So me and one other devotee were massaging Prabhupada's foot. I was such a young, foolish person. I couldn't understand the glory of what I was doing and who was Prabhupada. Still, I don't know who is Prabhupada, but I'm aspiring to understand more. And obviously, it's becoming more and more clear to the world the greatness of Prabhupada. But at the time, I was very young and just newly married, as I said, so not very clear on things about life and the purpose of life. Now, as an older person, I look back and I just see how totally mad I was as a young person. Very, very mad, foolish. And it's all by the power of Prabhupada's mercy that he was able to transform make me drink the nectar of the holy name. When he first initiated me, I remember I had to go to the bathroom very badly. And I was thinking, but if I go to urinate, then I'll have to take a shower, and it would take so much time, and I may miss my turn to be initiated. So rather than do that, I was holding in and holding it in and holding it in. And I thought that I may have to, it may come out. So I was thinking, what to do. And then finally Prabhupada gave me the name Rishikesh. So I lived up to the name for that moment. So then he quoted one verse, Savo padhi vinayamuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena sevanam bhakti uchate. So by controlling the senses and giving our everything, becoming free of all of the falsities of this world, I am this, I am that, recognizing that all of this is my conditioned nature. I am nothing of this world. I am a pure consciousness meant to render loving service to the Supreme Lord. So then at the end of, I think he spoke two paragraphs, and then he said, he looked at me and he said, is this all right? And I didn't say anything, and he just said, come on, chant Hare Krishna. So that was, he was wanting me to understand that it's all right. Now, come on, let's get with it. Let's get with the program. And let's become a pure devotee. Of course, it's not such a simple thing to do. But we appreciate how loving Prabhupada was with all of his disciples. That even though he was so unqualified to do something like this, the cultural change was so massive. I remember first coming to India and experiencing India. It was just so... I think the first time I came was in 1972. But it was just such an odd place, India. Actually, it's a most wonderful place, but when we have a whole different cultural background, actually there was no culture in America. It was just how to become happy through a hedonistic life. I was very much involved in the hippie generation, like so many of us. And so, so getting back to your, the mood was very beyond my ability to describe, actually, because, you know, I couldn't really be there in my heart. And that's the whole purpose of Krishna consciousness, is to come to our heart, to come out of our minds, to lose our minds for Krishna, so that we can be with our heart. And the more we can do that, the more we can be with Krishna, with Gurudev. It's a process of the heart, to awaken our heart, to awaken our loving sentiments towards God, towards Guru. And from that, real happiness can come into our life. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your class. In the beginning, you spoke about how it is very difficult. It's a utopian concept to find pleasure in this material world, and later part you told how to take positive association of devotees, create momentum, etc. So my question is, you spoke about the hedonistic culture, which is like a wild goose chase, and actually all this is meant to bring us to our knees and take to Krishna consciousness. So my query in context with Ajamil is, Ajamil was also like that. He came to his knees. So is it like everybody has to go through the lowest, touching the bottom of their, actions, so that they will take shelter only and only of Krishna? If that is the case, then people who are in the middle, like me, so who are neither cozy or nor, too much of difficulties are there, then to become serious like Ajamil did when he was in the lowest, touching the bottom. How do we do that? Because intellectually I tried to think that today I am going to die, so I'll chant very intensely. But I saw that Yudhishthir Maharaj quoted, ahani ahane bhutani. Many die, but the others feel that we don't die. So intellectually I may think, but it's not like working truly. And even Queen Kunti is praying that, I need dangers to become serious. So if a pure devotee is praying for dangers, how can a poor devotee like me, be very serious in, practice, even when I am thinking that, I am very comfortable. I am not in the lowest. I have not come down to the knees like other saints in Bhagavatam have come. So if you could enlighten, that would be great. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So it will happen in one way or another. Death will be there, disease will come, pain and disturbance. It's the world is made in such a way to bring us to our knees. But if we could do it in a conscious way, we come to our knees and we cry out, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So then that is a depth from the heart. We're crying for Krishna. So Gaur Govinda Maharaj, my dear godbrother, he said we have to learn to cry for Krishna. So that crying, he said I've opened a crying school. So that is the trick of Maya. See, Krishna consciousness is a momentum, just like a great athlete. You know, he wants to reach his perfection. You know, like Michael Jordan, who's the greatest basketball player that ever lived, say, he didn't get to be the greatest basketball player by just being nonchalant about what he was doing. He had to work very diligently to do it. So that is the whole aim. The aim is to take that momentum and build on it, and build on it, and build on it, deeply praying to Krishna to give you that realization, that depth of understanding and chanting, and feelingly taking shelter of Krishna, that I might be able to surrender in a deeper and deeper. It's a moment by moment thing. It's not, you know, I could put it off till next week, but we have to get the feeling that God is here, just like in this purport in the translation. And Krishna is everywhere. He's everywhere at every moment, and He's waiting and He's seeing. He wants to love us more than anything, and He wants us to embrace Him more than anything. But we are so conditional in our life that again and again we turn away. I've had some very heavy experiences in my life, in my own personal life, that have occurred to me throughout my life, as child, growing up, being married, losing my wife, losing my children. Intense pain it caused me. But still I didn't take shelter. So when Krishna is taking everything away from us and we have nothing else, then we're having to take shelter. It's either take shelter or go more mad, enter deeply into the madness of the material world. And we see what is the condition of the material world at present. It has become more and more insane. Everything that Prabhupada said in the Bhagavatam is so clearly being presented to us now in the world. It is so crystal clear. Every Prabhupada was a visionary. He saw everything that was going to happen, and he put it into his books. So the more we have that experience of the tragedy of material existence, the tragedy of our own foolishness, the great opportunity that has been afforded us in this moment, that we can be having each other's association we could take prasadam, we could discuss amongst ourselves the glory of Krishna, the glory of Prabhupada, the glory of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and become more and more enthusiastic, more enlivened, going out, telling others about it, doing our seva with heartfelt, deeper and deeper, how I am doing this for the pleasure of my Lord, and experiencing the joy that comes from doing that. We become so forgetful. That is the whole place. The whole place, material life, is to forget. We're naturally forgetful here. So we forget what is my position, that I'm this amazing soul that has the most unique, glorious relationship with Krishna. And I'm not bringing this forth because I want to do something to cause myself the greatest pain. How foolish, how unfortunate I am that I'm doing this. So the more we can understand this in depth, how I've hurt myself repeatedly because I'm not taking advantage of what's been given to me, then Prabhupada said how we're committing suicide. By our own hand, we're taking a knife and cutting our throat because I haven't done what I should have done. And then later on in life, when you get to be old like myself, you'll lament that you didn't take advantage of what you could have taken advantage of, and become so happy. It's all about becoming happy, really. We just don't understand how valuable the whole process of Krishna consciousness is. We forget how fortunate we are. And it just causes difficulty if we don't. And that's why Prahlad was telling us, now is the time as young boys to take advantage of spirituality, and because the whole thing is it's the momentum, it's the refinement of our consciousness. The purity and everything is already there intact with us. We just have to remove all the dirt. So this is a hospital to remove the dirt, to remove all of the blockages that are there in our heart from time immemorial. That's a long time. And now in this one lifetime, we have the rarest opportunity to remove and become happy. Remove all the pain from our heart, all of the traumas that we've experienced lifetime after lifetime. And then we'll, the joy of what we are is immeasurable, infinite, inconceivable. And we're taking happiness in something that is full of a momentary flicker. So we have to build this momentum and taste. The whole thing is taste, to experience. We want to experience the joy of what is the holy name, what is Krishna consciousness. And then to give up all of this other things in this world will become more and more no problem. We'll get an absorption in something that is far, far superior. And just naturally we'll want to not be involved in all of these other mad distractions of this world. Jai. Any other questions? Class ends now, right? Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.